Hello, everybody. I hope that you have had an incredible week. I am back from visiting my son in Florence, Italy, and I have to admit, I've been a little bit discombobulated. So much so, okay, check this out. So, my microphone, there's like this arm that I attach to my desk, and there's this piece that you stick the arm into so that it holds it in place. But I left it at my other studio space. So this morning, instead of being like, damn, I can't podcast because I'm already a day late on the commitment that I've made to publishing this. So instead of being like, oh, I can't, I have to run out, I have to do this, check this out, watch. I put my microphone in a saucepan because I need to exercise consistency. And this is what has inspired today's episode, I guess you could say. Do you ever wonder why? Hold on, I've got to move my saucepan a little bit. Do you ever wonder why you start doing things that you know are good for you? You start making a commitment to changing the way that you operate, to breaking a bad habit, to adding a good habit, right? And then you stop doing it. You just like one day you wake up and you're like, oh no, I'm not going to oil pull, or I've got 45 other things, so I'm not going to make my way to the gym, or whatever it is, right? And so this morning I was doing my journal. I'm back on track. Last week I definitely, when I got home, was discombobulated and needed a minute to settle in. And I did that very consciously, right? Because in the past, it would have been like a distraction process. It would have been, I don't know, I would have gotten caught up in all of the reasons why I couldn't do the things that I committed to myself to do. Instead, I very consciously was, you know what? I'm under the weather. I came back and I was under the weather. I needed to take some downtime. I needed to rest. But now I need to get back into my consistency, because if you've listened to past episodes, my goal for 2026 is consistency. That's it. Not starting something and then stopping and then wondering why it didn't work out and wondering why it didn't happen that I want. So consistency. So part of my consistency is waking up every morning and doing my setting journaling, reading my books that I'm reading right now, my spiritual journey books and my productivity books. And I just like to have my quiet morning time to really keep myself on track. And even that, since I've been back, I haven't been doing. So I started to do it this morning, but today there was like this amazing eclipse and beautiful sunrise that were happening simultaneously where I live, except for it was cloudy and I couldn't see anything. And even that, I can't tell you how many times in my life, because I'm super duper into astrology, and it's a wonderful tool and it has guided me beautifully, and it is something that I will always have as a guiding light in my life. But there's also free will. So saying things like, oh, it's okay if I don't follow through with my responsibilities today because there's a major eclipse and it's got me all, wonky and worked up. Like, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like, yes, do I believe that astrological events like eclipses can definitely throw off your energy? 100%. I mean, it really just is. Do I believe that jet lag throws me off of my game? Of course, 100%. The time zone thing is happening. But then there's discipline. What about discipline? So circling back around, this morning I woke up and I was sitting down to do my goal setting journaling. And this morning's prompt was, if you could leave a legacy, what could it be? Now, first and foremost, I had to really take pause and consider that. Like, really, what legacy would I want to leave for my children, for the world, for the people around me in my life. And really, I didn't have to think hard about it. The answer was the legacy of the teaching of the encouragement, the inspiration for embracing empowered responsibility. Now, I know that I've done a whole entire episode on this, but trust and believe that it is not something that you're just going to decide one day, like, oh, hey, I'm going to take responsibility for myself, and whoop, there it is. Like, it is a dirty internal street fight because it's so layered. It's so layered. It shows up in every part of our lives. And, you know, first and foremost, one of the areas of our lives that it shows up in, and fair enough, is the shoulds, what we should be doing, how you should be living your life. And especially when we're younger, right? And I very much believe that our younger years are the breeding ground for the mistakes that we make, to then have the opportunity to consciously, intentionally evolve and grow throughout our lives. But what often happens is we then get into, instead of like, okay, I did that and that didn't work out so well for me, so let me choose different, we start getting into the finger pointing, right? Well, that happened because of this, and that happened because of that person, and all of the excuses. We start to make all of the excuses. And what's really interesting is so many of those excuses are shared throughout society, are shared amongst humanity. And you can go out and find so many people who will support your finger pointing and the justifications and the validations that we make. I mean, it's so easy to say, like, yes, that person did that, and so it threw me off, and so it's their fault that I didn't, oops, I just knocked my pot out of the way. So it's their fault that I wasn't able to follow through. It's their fault that I wasn't able to accomplish what I set out to do. It's their fault that I failed. And I'm calling fucking bullshit. You have to stop it. You don't. Let me rephrase that. You don't have to do anything that you don't want, because I'm not going to participate in the shoulds. You should stop that. It's a choice. It's a choice. And whether or not you choose to take responsibility for yourself, which I want to make abundantly clear, that I call it empowered responsibility because it is so incredibly empowering. Okay? Going back to the shoulds, you start your life with, you should graduate from high school, you should go to college, you should meet somebody by a certain age, you should get married, right? And I think that we're going away from a lot of this, happily. I think that we've, in society, definitely seen, like, maybe not so much. Maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So we're starting to certainly open up to a broader view of the different ways that we can operate through life. And we're starting to see it so much more as a choice. Some of us have much more traditional values. I say us as if I'm that person. And the fact of the matter is, I've tried to live a traditional trajectory of marriage, buying a home, having children. Never did it happen in that order. And operating in that traditional trajectory because I was really forcing myself into that because I wanted parts of it. I wanted children. I did. I didn't necessarily want the marriage. I didn't at all want the suburban home and lifestyle. But I still followed the shoulds. Well, I had my first son, so I should get married. That didn't work out well for either one of us, but we both wanted and loved our children together, right? So you follow the shoulds when you're younger, and in whatever realm it is, they exist. How you should go about whatever trajectory it is that you pursue in your life or think that you want in your life, those shoulds exist, except for they very oftentimes will really jam you up. So here's what happens. You follow the shoulds, you follow a specific trajectory, you get the result. And here's another thing. I'm saying that a lot today. Here's the thing. It's kind of a thing that I say. And whatever, that's me. Who cares? Here's the thing. You don't actually know if the choices that you are making are good choices until you get the results. That's just the way it works. But we go into this space of being so concerned of humiliation, of being wrong, of shame, of having made a mistake, instead of simply, and I mean simply, saying, that didn't work. I made a poor choice. I made a poor choice. Or I made a great choice for me at the time, because here's the thing. We make the choices, we get the results, and then we have the opportunity to evolve and grow and do better. Why is that so bad? Why is that such a problem? Why do so many of us hold ourselves in containment with such extraordinary fear to fuck up, to be able to say, like, yeah, I made that choice. It didn't work out so well. I need to choose different. What did work out from that choice? What didn't work out from that outcome? And where do I need to make a pivot? But we're so concerned about the optics, about what other people think, about how we're going to be perceived, about how we're going to be viewed. And this is when I can say that I have certainly, in my later years of life, been called a selfish bitch, because I got to a point that I don't care what other people think about the outcomes of my decisions. And, that's half true. I'm working on it. I'll get there. But I kind of don't. And I'm working towards that very intentionally, because, listen, I never set out to hurt anybody, and I will own my actions and my behaviors when I do. Sometimes it requires an apology. All times it requires a realignment. And it's most certainly my personal process, my personal trajectory. And I have no control over somebody else's experience, how they metabolize their experience with me, their choices in how they choose to move through our relationship. I mean, how they metabolize it is really the best way that I know how to say it. They can vilify me or not. They can recognize their choices in the relationship. And this goes back to the forgiveness practice. This goes back to that first I'm sorry statement, especially when the things that we need to forgive in our life have to do with the relationships that we have. Because one way or another, we participated in how things happened, how things went about, because we were there. We were a part of it, whether it was through codependency, whether it was through our own beliefs, whatever, any number of the things, right? And so even going back to the things that we strive to achieve for ourselves in our life, whether it's good health. Why do you stop taking the vitamins? Why do you stop going to the gym? Why do you tell yourself stupid things like, I can't meditate? Seriously? You can't sit down and close your eyes and 45 times in the course of 1 minute say, oh, there my brain goes. Let me bring it back to the breath. Oh, there it goes again. Let me bring it back to the breath. Wow, I'm singing that song in the back. It's just self-awareness. It's just getting to see like, wow, I really actually have this brain that I have zero control over, and then wonder why I have no control over my own behaviors, over what snowballs into the outcomes of my life, the big picture of my life. And until we're ready to take responsibility for that reality and stop pointing fingers at all of the reasons why not, like it's an eclipse. Mercury's in retrograde and it's an eclipse, and I've got my microphone in a saucepan because, damn it, I will stay consistent this year. I will get out of my own way. And that's the fact of the matter. You're the only person that's fucking you up. You're the only person that's choosing the factors that you're pointing the fingers at that are jamming you up. And the sooner you're willing to acknowledge that truth, the sooner you are going to step into your personal power. This is all about power, and it's not about having power over another person. That, you know what? Like, nobody can have power over you unless you give it to them. I need you to understand that. Nobody has power over you unless you give it to them. And you can come up with all of the yeah buts, yeah buts, yeah buts. And I hope that you do. And drop me an email. Yeah, but how about this? Yeah, but how about that? Please drop me an email. Let's have this conversation. hello@sharemelly.com. It's in the show notes. Go ahead, drop me an email. Give me your impossible scenario in your yeah, but. And I will address it and help you see from a different perspective and reclaim your personal power. What does it mean to reclaim your personal power? Number one, it's a choice. You need to understand that the single most empowering thing that you can do is own your choices, starting with simple things like choosing to wake up in the morning and take a moment and put your feet on the floor and say, I am present for my day. Choosing things for me like oil pulling in the morning, putting some organic coconut or sesame or almond oil in my mouth and swishing it around for 20 minutes so I cannot have the cavity that I currently have that's annoying me. But I don't do it. And that's a choice. I fall off of it, right? Choosing to be consistent. What are the things that you have made a freaking New Year's resolution for? Let's start there. Let's start with the obvious. What are the New Year's resolutions that you've made year over year and then just dropped off? What are the things that you say to yourself over and over and over again? I need to, but you don't. And not only do you not, but you come up with all of the reasons why you cannot and point fingers at all of the external factors that stop you from doing so. What are those things? And then this brings us into, let's go back to the first Empowered Responsibility episode that I did. I think it was the second episode, because it's this important, you guys, taking back your personal power, your power of choice is this important. Because before I go back to that, what I was going to say about that second episode, every time you blame someone or something, every time you blame your parents, your childhood, every time you label something a trauma that isn't actually a serious trauma, and I've said this before, sorry, not sorry, but we throw this trauma shit around like, I'm so traumatized. Oh my fucking God. I had a fight. My friend said, so I read something in the news and it traumatized me. You want to know trauma? Rape is trauma. Do you want to know trauma? Being beaten is trauma. Being roofied in a club is trauma. Stepping over a landmine, seeing combat is trauma. Something hurting your feelings is not trauma. And every time, and if I am pissing you off right now, look, this is me pushing buttons. Push, 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 because I'm not here for your comfort, my darling, beautiful, wonderful friend. I am here for your best interest, because I care about you, because even if I don't know you, if I have never met you in my whole entire life, I love you. And I want to see you get over yourself, because it's the only way that you are going to feel empowered in your life. Empowered is when you stop attaching your energy to everything that you blame, everyone that you blame. Instead of seeing them, the situation, the experience as an opportunity for you to call your personal power back by detaching from blame. Because that's what happened when you label something a trauma and you start singing that song about this person did that to me. You are attaching an energetic cord to that person, that place, that circumstance, whatever it was. And you are turning the vacuum switch on their end so they can suck the life out of you. And that's your choice. You need to understand that that is your choice. Even the actual traumas that happen to us in our lives have the opportunity to call our power back by turning it into a healing process to the best of our abilities. And there are certainly things that I don't know in this life if we'll be able to heal. There are some pretty severe things that happen, but I have also seen wonderful, extraordinary people turn horrific things that happened to them into acts of service. Not the thing that happened to them into an act of service, but them being in service to other people through their ability to help, support, and heal and grow. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you start life following the shoulds, and then you get the results of those shoulds. And you decide one day, stop shoulding all over me. Not shitting all over me, shoulding all over me. I'm going to stop shoulding all over myself. I'm going to understand that I maybe don't even actually know myself, that I have been following a trajectory of life that has been completely laid out for me, that I've been raised to understand that this is how I should operate, except for the fact that I feel this way, my life feels this way, it's not great. I've been holding myself in places that are absolutely draining me, and I want to live with vibrancy. Now imagine this. Imagine that you are given a certain amount of energy, when you are born into this life. And depending on how many things you attach energetic cords to, you're sucking out that energy. Okay? You're running that energy. This is where we can start to look at the chakra system, the energetic system, because certain experiences, certain energies live in different energetic centers within our bodies. How many times can Cher say energy in 35 seconds? But whatever, it is what it is, right? And now you're running those energies through those specific centers because you refuse to take empowered responsibility. You refuse to become self-aware. You choose instead to identify in trauma, label things as trauma, and then instead of healing, creating boundaries to protect those hurts instead of healing them. Now, those hurts go through the specific energy centers in your body, and I'll take notes for myself to go through what those centers are, because it's not as clear cut. Like, you hear all of these things about what the chakras are and how they work, and like the throat chakra is about communication and being able to say what you need, and then you're out vomiting how you feel on everybody because you need to let it go, and that's not really quite how it works. So I'll get a little bit more into that, right? But let's say you are constantly holding in the things that you never say. You never speak up. You don't actualize, even walk towards the things that you want to do in your life, produce in your life, right? And you wind up with throat cancer or thyroid issues, right? Because your energy from that specific area is constantly being hemorrhaged. And you're now wasting that finite amount of energy that you were gifted when you were born, instead of letting it be a steady stream of reduction, because we age and you use energy every moment of every day that you wake up. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are energy. What are you thinking? What's going through your head? And here's the other thing. When you are doing acts of service, when you are having truly thoughts of appreciation versus just glazing over gratitude, right? And I see this all the time. Listen, I love a good gratitude practice, but what do you appreciate about that specifically? It's not enough to do this spiritual bypass language of, oh, I'm so grateful for my life, and I'm so grateful for fresh water, and I'm so grateful for clean air. Why are you grateful for your life? Why specifically? Why specifically are you grateful for clean water? Why specifically are you grateful for fresh air? Okay? So you have this finite amount of energy. Now, there's things that you can do in your life that encourage, that strengthen, that produce the energy. And there's things that you can do in your life that absolutely hemorrhage your energy. And it's all a choice. It's all one big choice. And it's up to you to take responsibility for your life, for the choices that you make, for your perception in the outcomes of the choices of your life. It's up to you to choose to be a demanding, entitled person or a nice person. Seriously. It's pretty basic in what it actually is. I get it that it's not so easy to practice, but choosing to have a morsel of self-awareness goes a long way. So again, this is not an opportunity to get down on yourself. That's a choice. This is, although, an opportunity to recognize your humanity. This is an opportunity to cultivate self-awareness, to exercise your ability to be present in any given moment, to choose your words. And here's the thing, what's behind the words that you are speaking? Because I have had it said to me, I love you. I really love you right now, in a way that is basically an energetic bitch slap. Because the words behind it, the energy behind those words is sarcastic. Somebody was trying to hurt me, and that hurts. Words hurt. How do you want to show up in the world? What's the legacy that you want to leave? And so I'll leave you with that heavy for today. No, seriously, taking empowered responsibility, being present in your life, stopping pointing fingers, stopping the blame game, harnessing, taking ownership of your power of choice, understanding that humility is not the same thing as humiliation. Understanding that labeling everything as a trauma when it's just emotional reality of life that we need to process through, right? Really, really working towards taking ownership of these things is going to lead you toward being the happiest, most confident, flow through life. And understand that doesn't mean that life is going to be easy. It is not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be a kaleidoscope. You're supposed to live in this, you have a rainbow of emotions because you're meant to have the opportunity and the experience to feel all of the emotions. But when you can do it with presence and intentional awareness, it doesn't linger. You don't hold on to it. It doesn't erode you. It doesn't hemorrhage your energy. You're in this life intentionally, consciously, purposefully. And let me tell you something. It's a beautiful thing. Even sorrow is a beautiful thing because it's love. It's an expression of love. Okay, I'm out. I am going to record the mini-sode, a little practice for you to help you on this journey. And seriously, email me anything that, like if I've pissed you off, I'm here for it. I'm here for that conversation. I am not here to just speak and preach and then hide because you can't reach me. Yes, you can. You can tell me how you feel about all of this, what's hitting hard, and I am here to have that conversation, okay? So I wish you love. Don't forget to check out the mini-sode. Yeah, man, have an awesome day. Consistency. I'm here doing it, getting out of my own way. Thank you for being here with me. If something in this episode stirred clarity, discomfort, or recognition, let it. You don't need to rush to resolve it. Integration happens in its own time. And don't forget the mini-sodes. They offer simple yet practical tools to help you integrate what we explore here. Now, if you're navigating a season of transition in relationships, identity shifts, or decisions that call for clarity, grounded perspective, and honest reflection, I do work privately with a small number of women. That information is in the show notes if and when it feels right for you. And if there's a situation you're wrestling with and want a fresh, real life, no bullshit, ride or die best friend perspective on, you're welcome to email me at hello@SharonMalley.com. I read every message, and I'll do my best to explore it in a future episode or companion mini-sode. Now, if this resonated, please follow, like, subscribe, and definitely share it with someone who might need to hear it. Take good care of yourself. I'll meet you back here soon. With love, ciao for now.